that was one heck of a cliffhanger, if I say so myself. You've got Woongi in tears, everybody hugging him, and yeah, I am so curious to really find out what this is all about. They've prefaced this particular narrative from the very beginning, right from the get-go, so obviously this is the payoff. I don't think they're going to be milking it any more than what we're getting on this episode. So I gather this whole episode is probably, maybe half of it is going to be about them. Is it going to be deep? That's the main question I wanted answered. But like I said in my previous video, please feel free to check that out if you haven't. I feel like it's not deeper than, it's not too deep, right? Like it's more or less like a misunderstanding, like someone says something or they never got a chance to actually discuss what's happened when they, you know, is it Toy or TO1 broke up. And I think, again, I haven't really looked into the whole sort of storyline in terms of what really happened, apart from I think that the company wasn't really doing their part. So obviously that kind of just left everything up in the air, and obviously the company fell apart and everything wasn't working, and you know, ended up with Woongi leaving. So yeah, we'll see how it all pans out. It's not gonna be a narrative where, oh well, we dated the same girl. You know what I mean? We dated the same girl, and I mean, you know, again, it ain't gonna be that. That's 100%, you know, not in the cards. But I am also curious to see how the Groove Bench will perform, bro. If, you know, I mean, just looking at the talent that they have, so you got Hunky Jimin. I still don't know his name. I'm so sorry. Is it Honkyu? Something like that. Hanseo as well. You've got Zen Zen. I think Zen Zen is on that team. He can sing. He's got good vocals. And a few others as well that can really perform, both sing and perform. We will see. Okay, I did, maybe I was a little bit too hard on Yogyum on being a director there. But I feel like Lee Chung-sub, the master, the genius that he is going to make adjustments. But that's what I predict. So let's get the show on the road. Kindly do any one of these if you'd like to support my channel for more. What do you call this? For more Universe League reactions. Thank you so much to my patrons, and I really appreciate you supporting me on this level. And yeah, let's get the show on the road, shall we? Let's go. Oh, sorry, I don't have my headset on. Okay. Lee Chung-sub playing on a different level. He's playing chess. Everyone's playing checkers, or vice versa. I don't know what's better than the other, but he's just different. Like, he plays to his team's strengths and a little bit more. You know, it doesn't help that all these guys are already, you know, the majority of the guys here. So I can see obviously him, Hanseo, and him, and then you add Zen Zen on top of that as well with his vocals. They're already, I feel like they're a little bit stronger. I feel like the bench of Groove is good enough as a starter for another team. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if their Beats song is secured. Woongi and company are having trouble with this song because it just goes on and on and on and on, right? Like there's no chance for you to rest and catch your breath. So that's why I was saying, fair enough that you told for Yogyum, by the way, this is Yogyum's critique of the group. Fair enough if they haven't mastered that side of thing, where as idols you need to be really used to having better breath control, but you need to teach them how to, or make the adjustments, because right at the offset I can already see that Lee Chung-sub has already made the adjustments by just the appearance, min-maxing with his talents there, with his group, you know, like crop tops and all that kind of stuff. You're already gonna get votes just by that. So imagine if you know, you have adjustments made on the choreo to give your vocalist time to actually sing the notes properly, because there are some high notes on that too. So that's hard, and then you have to do the choreo on that too. So yeah, we'll see what the adjustments adjustments they make on this one. I'm really because they eventually will do like a sound test. What is it called? A sound check of this, like they, not in costume or anything like that. They need to test and see if everything's running as is. They need to know their placements. I wonder if the other teams get to have a sneak peek of what the other team is doing, because it's going to be on the same stage. They're on the same building kind of thing. So I wonder how strict they are, because, well, then again, at the same time, do you really have enough time to make the adjustments once you find out what they're doing? You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure they've already heard or seen what the other team is doing behind the scenes, things that we don't see. Obviously, there's a ton of these footage, right? Or things that they. Oh man, that's some more. I don't know how they made that song a little bit more vocally focused, if that makes sense. As much as they're really good with their dancing and their performance, that kind of became second fiddle. Is that even a word? Like, you know what I mean? It's not. It's become sort of like a second feature to the vocals of this. I honestly feel like Wongi's team still executed the choreos much better, because it's a lot more demanding. There's a lot of stuff happening, and they executed it really well. Like, they're very well synchronized, jumping up and down. But the vocals and the breath control, something had to give. So that's the one that kind of suffered. So you don't have as many highlights on their vocals there. Whereas this, you saw who was singing which part, and then they were giving it their all. So again, it's close to a tie in terms of performance. If I'm just looking at it on a performance, I kind of want to give it to Beat, because they need a win, in all honesty. But the confidence that these guys have in terms of executing their thing is kind of tricky. It's either you prefer vocals or you prefer the performance in dancing. That's what it is. It's a preferential thing. This time around, I want to give it to Beat, only because I want their song to be secured and they need a win. And on top of that, if they lose, there are going to be eliminations on Team Beat's side. I definitely hate for anyone to go at this point, this further down in the show, but someone's got to be eliminated soon. But because there are live audience votes, I feel like whoever saw this performance will vote for these guys. And again, kudos to them, because they did fantastically well on trying to manage both the vocal parts of the song and the performance side of it as well, trying to have a balance. Lee Chung Sub is so meticulous with this process that he knows the vocal capabilities of each team. Like, those really like Charlie Puth, he knows, like, when you make a sound, he'd be like, oh, that's an A sharp, or that's a G5. You know what I mean? Like, those type of people. It's like, oh, Park Han has this G whatever that he can hit that none of the bench people can hit. And just that alone is a weapon. Like, if they can't hit that note, then, they're going to have to work their way around it. It's just me trying to think if that is the case. Because if it is, that's very, very almost definitely genius level in terms of trying to choose this is. So I think it's only fair that they do this, but I think it's up to the contestants not to show the directors what what they have on their sleeves. You know what I mean? Like their trick or whatever. I mean it's okay to do that, but you don't want to show your best, right? I don't know. It's just me thinking. Well, why would you show your hand to the opponent, right? But because 10 and Yang Yang did it, it's only fair that Lee Chang Sub should do it. But why didn't Yogyum and El Capitan do that for Groove? You know what I mean? That there's this disconnect. Again, I'm not sure if that happened because obviously, there's only so much you can show in an episode, but a very small snippet of Yogyum sitting down or El Capitan sitting down with the Groove bench and see what they've got on El Capitan song. You know what I mean? Like you tell the kids El Capitan that, oh, I don't have, this song has never been sold because I refused, to sell this to companies. That's how much he's holding this song. This song is very dear to him that he doesn't want it to be sold anywhere else. And you don't even, there's no competitiveness when it comes to your actual song. There's a disconnect there, and that's what's lacking on my side. This is good. This is good. You have a slight feeling it's gonna go to Groove. Still cannot undermine how great of a vocalist Han is. The supporting cast have so much star power over Team Rhythm's bench. Sirin, who is an amazing vocalist and performer on his own, is now on the bench team, which means he's not going to get the votes. If he does get some votes here, I mean, the best thing that would happen is probably up his votes to maybe starter level, but it's not enough to win this round. Performance-wise, it felt like they, Team Rhythm bench, did fantastic. Like, I can't fault them. I cannot fault them once. And Groove, obviously you have that one little voice crack in the end, and that's being nitpicky. Again, this is a tight one. I'm gonna go for Rhythm, but I don't know how else Beat is ever gonna win anything at this point, because they get less players now from this point onwards, because they're gonna lose people who already have one of these. And if Lee Chang Sub is heartless, which I don't think he is, he's gonna take either Kyrie or any one of the other great performers here. But I do have a question when it comes to their trading. Seems like they don't touch the superstars of each team. Like, I feel like it might be like a unspoken rule amongst or between the directors that they don't touch each other's superstars. Like, they will never go for Cheongi for Beat, Parkhan for Groove, and JL for Rhythm. I think that's kind of like the standard. Just don't, you can take anyone else, but just not the main star. So, okay. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section below, please.
설마 나는 아니겠지라는 생각은 했었어요. 또
You know what? I think they should have given Team Beat an option to trade, I don't know. I feel like it's only fair that the winner gets a couple of votes, and then the losers, second or third, whatever, will get one vote each, one option to trade. I think it's fair, because that way you can still sort of level the playing field a little bit. Because with Beat not having had any opportunity to trade, then they're just going to keep losing. I feel like that's where things kind of that's where the disadvantage becomes really apparent, is because they're not given any opportunity to go for one of the stars. And if they still want to keep it as Rhythm cannot take any pick from Groove, then at least have the two losers trade, you know? Rhythm gets one of the stars at Beat, and Beat gets one of the stars from Rhythm. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It just feels like there's no way Beat can win at this point. We're far down the last few letters of Prism here. This is the third one, and then obviously the second one, the one after this will be one heck of an episode. A lot of twists and turns. People had to leave. I honestly, one of the biggest takeaways I have in this episode is the fact that the voting is out of whack. You know, it's again, obviously people are different. We have our own preferences, our own choices. But it really baffles the mind when it comes to good performers versus just the visuals. You know, that still baffles my mind, because at the end of the day, I appreciate visuals for what they are, but visuals that can perform are more valuable than just visuals, if you know what I mean. And the way the voting is going right now, we're losing out on someone like Siren, who's really talented. I feel like people who are skilled are losing out on positions, on votes. I don't know. In all honesty, that's the only sort of hard pill to swallow, right? Like, as human beings, we are very visual beings, so that's always going to be there. But there needs to be a bit of balance, right? And I think that's why they're trying to have online voting versus the on-site one, live audience, whatever it's called. But yeah, it's been a mystery. It's been something that's pretty common in a lot of survival shows, in all honesty. So that's something that's probably never going to change. But the 7 that they have right now, as is, that's not a bad lineup, right? That's not a bad lineup. I feel like you have good performers in there, 2 amazing vocalists in there with Park Han and JL, and you have Woongi and I forgot the rest, but anyway, that's a good lineup that they have in there. The amount of twists and turns this show has, and the amount of changes they made in the lineup, and the fact that Beat still is in that position, with no winning in sight. You know, there's no opportunities for them to get any wins, even small wins at this point. But picking their best 7, I don't think they're still gonna win it. Basically, all the pieces that both Groove and Rhythm didn't want in their team is now on Beat, on Team Beat. And you know, there must be a reason why they decided to release those players, those trainees. And it could be a lack of motivation, no work ethic, or it could be they're not getting votes. So however Beat chooses their top 7 players, it doesn't matter. It's still gonna be, you know, they're still going to be the weakest of the 3 teams, the 3 groups. Groove is at a position where I think he's got all the pieces he needs. It's just a matter of finding the most optimal options at this point. Rhythm is still on, I think they still have their 7 intact, apart from minus Juwon, of course. Juwon is probably going to be in the first 7 for Groove. But yeah, the only competition is now going to be between Rhythm and Groove, unless Team Beat pulls out a miracle. You know, that's probably the only way they'll win is if they bank in that one miracle performance that just wowed the crowd, and just somehow um a new star is born within the group. This is so stressful, but at the same time really fun to watch. The performances were amazing. They were close. Like that's the other thing I wanted to talk about, is that they're somehow, despite Rhythm's efforts, battling against Groove there, the live audiences, didn't see anything. They saw even less. Like, I thought it felt like Team Rhythm's bench team performed better than Team Beat's bench team, but somehow the bench team of Beat had more votes. So that really baffles me. And 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 yeah, I'm a little lost for words, in all honesty, but I'm very much looking forward to S7, see who their picks are going to be, and the internal battles they're going to have. Just want to say quick thank you to my patrons. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the love and support that you give. And yeah, I will try my best to put out more content for you guys. So yeah, please let me know if there's anything specific you'd like me to look into. Having said that, have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye.